Today you're going to learn how to crochet a mug rug or a coaster. When I was about 9 years old, I got a crochet kit for my birthday, and I did not understand it. I asked my mom for help and she didn't understand either, so we put it away, and then about a year later picked it up again and it clicked. Ever since then I've been crocheting, so I have about 10 years of experience, which means that if I had not continued crocheting, I would not be at the skill level that I am today. I heard someone say once that practice doesn't make perfect, it makes better. It makes improvement. So the biggest takeaway from this video is that you need to keep practicing. You will always get better. Today, I'm going to teach you how to crochet. So first you're going to need materials. So there are two types of yarn. There's this really thick blanket yarn, and then there's this little worsted weight yarn. It's easiest to learn on a worsted weight, so we're going to put that aside. It's also easiest for a beginner to learn on a lighter color yarn so you can see your stitches better. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of crochet is needlework consisting of the interlocking of looped stitches formed with a single thread and a hooked needle. Knitting would use needles. That's the difference. We're not knitting, so we're not using these. You're also going to need a pair of scissors and yarn needles to sew in the ends of your yarn when you are done. So, to start, you're going to want to unravel a bit of yarn so that it's just easier. First thing you want to do is make a slip knot. So you're going to twist it around your finger, like so. It kind of is wearing a hood or something like that. And then take your finger off, and you're going to push the longer side through the loop and pull. And then you're going to put your hook through the loop and pull it till it's about that big. Then you're going to want to wrap it around your fingers like this. You could just hold it like this, but to find the best tension, it's best to hold it wrapped around your fingers. So the first step is always going to be to chain when you're making something that is of a square shape or base, like this mug rug is going to be. So to do this, you're going to hold the knot with your middle finger and thumb, and hold the hook facing towards you. Then you're going to use your hook and go like so. That is one chain. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go to about 10, but the tension is determined by how loose you hold this. If you're holding it very tightly, you won't be able to grab the yarn with your hook. That is something you will find with practice on the perfect tension for you. So, moving on, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The second step is going to be starting to actually crochet a stitch. The best stitch for a beginner is called a single crochet stitch. Before you do the single crochet, you need to look at the composition of this chain. You can see there are little bumps on each chain. So, like right here, there's a little bump. That can help you count. That is also where you're going to want to insert your hook for the first stitch. First, you'll skip the first chain. So, this one that's closest to the hook, and you're going to move down to this one. You're going to insert your hook into the little bump, so the one in the middle. Once you've inserted, you should have 2 loops on your hook, and then you're going to do just what you did before and grab the yarn with your hook and pull it through the first loop. Again, you should have 2 loops on your hook, and it should start kind of looking like a stitch. You're going to pull through one more time, hook facing towards you, and pull it through both loops. And there you have your very first stitch. So you'll continue down the row, inserting into that little bump right there, the yarn in the middle, insert your hook, pull the yarn through the first loop on your hook, we'll now have two, pull through again. And now you can see the tops of your stitches kind of form another type of chain, and that's how you count each stitch. You can see 1 and 2. You'll continue down the row. So now you have your first full row. This is what the side facing you, or the front, should look like. That's the top with all the stitches, and the bottom should look similar. Now, going to hold it just like you always have, middle finger, thumb, right under the hook, hook facing you, chain 1, and turn it so you can go back down the opposite way of the row. So you'll insert your hook, not into the chain that you just made, but that last stitch. And when you are inserting your hook into that last stitch, you're going to put your hook through both of those little strands of yarn. So we're not doing it through one anymore. You're going to put it through both. So it might kind of look like you have 3 strands, when in reality it is that stitch and the loop that was already on your hook. So then you'll pull through the stitch and then pull the yarn through both loops. Insert, pull yarn through once, and pull yarn through both loops. Again, you've done 2 stitches on your second row. Each time you get to the end of the row, you're going to have the hook facing you, chain 1, and turn. Start not in the chain you just made, but in that last stitch. And you will continue doing single crochets until you have as many rows as you believe is a good size for a mug rug. In this example, there are 9 stitches per row and 19 rows. To finish off, you're going to want to chain once, but you're not going to turn it. You're just going to cut the yarn, pull the hook, and pull it tight, and it'll create a knot. Now you'll grab a yarn needle, thread it, flip it over, insert the needle through these little V's, which are the stitches. You will then pull through and reinsert, starting in the last loop that you entered your needle through. Pull through again and do one more time. It is now ready to snip off because it is secured. Repeat on the opposite end. To add a little flair to your mug rug, you may want to add some tassels. To do that, you're going to want to cut some strands, and you're going to need the number of stitches that you have. So we have 9 stitches on each side, so we're going to need 18 strands of yarn. So you're going to take a tassel, stick your hook through a stitch, wrap your tassel around it so it's on each side, and pull it through. So you'll have a loop on your hook and the 2 ends coming out of the other side. And you will pull those 2 through just like you were chaining, and pull it tight. And you'll continue all the way on both sides. The last step is going to be to trim your tassels so that they are even on both sides. Now that your mug rug is complete, the best thing you can do is to practice. Yours may not look as straight as this one, but it can't get better without practice. One way you could do this is to experiment with different colors. You could do stripes. You can make it wider, taller. you can make just a square coaster. So now all you need is practice and a cup of coffee.